Welcome, everybody, to the Seller Club podcast, episode number 36, True or False?
True.
Reseller Edition. Drop that beat. All right, we are ready for this special edition episode where Ken and Anna have no clue what I'm going to ask, what I'm going to say. We have true or false statements, and we're going to get their feedback as eBay sellers.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
I think this is your favorite game.
No script.
I love this stuff.
Yeah, I love seeing Anna's reaction in her response, you know. We're just priming her for like live moments when she gets interviewed to the big stage someday.
So I'm thinking we should start off a little slow, a little easy,
a little
for
softball.
some feedback. Yeah. Exactly.
Cool.
And
I
then
played softball. Let's go.
So you can hit that home run. It's an easy pitch. And then we'll work our way up to controversy. Just kidding.
Drama.
Yeah. Here, like, what is going on here? Okay, so I have 5 of them, and then I have a 6 as a bonus one. So, you know what? We'll start off the bonus, because the bonus is really easy.
Oh.
Okay, so here we go.
Bonus
The
up front.
first
I
one.
like it.
Yeah, true or false, Ken and Anna, as an eBay seller, the most time-consuming task is listing. Once again, true or false, as an eBay seller, the most time-consuming task is listing.
False.
Kenny says false.
I know why he's saying that.
Anna.
Why do you know my answer, Anna? How do you know?
Because I know you. Because I know you, and I know the way you are. Let me think about it. Okay, well, so anytime. Here's what happens in my brain. Here's a little insight into my brain. Okay. I go, what does that mean, listing? Does that include photos? Does that include research? Like, what are the components?
This is just doing, well, you're just listing an item.
Getting something up.
So
right?
that means, just getting it on the app. So that means photos are already done.
Okay.
Sourcing is obviously done.
You have
shipping is another
photos,
thing you
though.
could consider.
Yeah, you have to have photos, though.
Yeah.
But that's my question, because like I do photos as a set. When my mind, photos is a separate step.
It is.
When I sit down to list, it's like I already have drafts.
Exactly.
This
is draft. This is draft mode. You're already ready to list.
Oh, drafting. Drafting's easy.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say false. It is not.
False
it is not
well.
the most time consuming. Why did you say this one was easy?
Did I say false? What did I say? What was my
You said false.
What did
You want me to tell you why you said false? Because I will.
Oh, why did I say false, Anna?
Because you don't do the listing.
No, I can still beat an average eBay seller in listing. I just did that.
So if we run,
that wasn't the question.
If I wanted to break this down, the reason why I wanted to really think about this was because of those outside factors, which is sourcing the product, which is, I believe, is one step, right? Taking the photos is another step. Actually listing the item is another step. And then, of course, shipping out the item is another step. Customer service is another step. Taking items to the post office could be another step.
Inventory is another step.
Yeah, inventory checking.
Unless we're some average eBay seller just lost it on the mountain.
Well, even promotions is another one, right? If you're sending out offers, if you're working out deals or marketing, that's another step as well. So, I agree. I believe that it is false. Listing is actually pretty easy, especially when you have the same items.
But why does everybody... Every eBay seller struggle on listing?
Yes, I was going to ask that.
Get it up like
it feels like
a day.
A giant bottleneck, right? Because it's like, I gotta sit down and list all these drafts. Yeah.
No, you know what? Also, I was just gonna say what another step could be is actually prepping the item, because let's say if you're thrifting or things like that, you still gotta clean the item, maybe wash the item.
Even if it's brand new clothing, you gotta at least kind of
double check,
iron it.
Well,
and not iron it in a way, but like
if there's tags that like sticker tags or something, you have to take off. Like,
True.
It takes.
I think that's the longest process. For
the prep.
Get out your heat gun. Yeah.
Yeah, prepping. I could definitely see.
Honestly, though, like the heat gun is so fun. I love the heat gun.
Plus, everybody. Plus, like
I live for taking out tags.
Well, they need to see my heat gun setup, man.
Yeah, you should make a reel about it. It's really fun.
Yeah, on a gooseneck with a foot switch.
Well, I'm gonna say.
Serious.
Well, what is the most time-consuming task then? If your answers are both false, what is the most time-consuming task as an eBay seller?
I would say inventory and shipping, because I think they go together.
Inventory, like finding the item and shipping it out.
Right, like putting it in, and then I guess for me I do inventory because it makes my shipping way easier, right? So like I feel like when I'm doing inventory work, it's like doing half the shipping work.
Yeah.
Ahead of time.
It's the front half, right? When you're like
right?
Because
if you have the system down, but I think that's one of the most key, like it's for me, like that one is like pricing an item, right? Because you cannot mess up, like you have to be on point, because if you put in the wrong bin, then it's gonna cost you 10-30 minutes later down the road. I think that is the most time consuming, because at this point nothing really takes that long, right? Don't you think? Don't you believe?
Well, my answer was photos. I think photos take forever, and especially doing more jerseys now than ever. Shoes were so easy.
Clothing photos 100%. Yeah. There's no like Lazy Susan. There's no flip box. You can't flick it with a wrist. Like.
Am I hearing it depends on this answer? I mean, it sounds like it does. It depends on the inventory.
It's taking photos, clothing.
Yeah.
Anything related to clothing, because inventory and clothing is.
I got to shout out though. My girl, Sarah Styles LLC, she is so fast at clothing photos.
Oh, man.
She's got it down to a freaking science, which should not surprise anyone if you know her, because she's very analytical. But I think, like, for similar reasons, right? Like, in my inventory, generally speaking, it is, like, the inventory / shipping stuff that takes the longest, because it's not uniform. So, finding it, I mean, I can usually find stuff really fast in my inventory, but actually packing it up to ship it might take me like 15 seconds. I might have the label on it in 15 seconds, or it might take me like seriously 30 minutes to pack up like a fragile thing,
right?
And make a custom box and like whatever. So I think that there's so much variability in there. That's usually what takes the longest. But for certain other situations, I also feel like photos feel like they take forever, even if they don't actually. Photos are just a drag to me.
I think it's just the movement of
they
product,
are to me
right?
too.
Like, if you say, like, let's list one item, photos so easy.
It's like,
right?
oh, that took me 2 minutes, right?
Yeah,
but then when you're doing like 50, it's like, this is an all-day event.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Because, like, for us, like, you have to put it in a rack, put it back in the rack. So we have 2 racks, put it from the right to left to, like.
Yeah.
But I agree. But here's the thing. I think that can be refined if we take, if we sort better.
Yeah.
When even for you, like, you have hard goods, but what if you have like certain shapes, right? What if I'm only dealing with
like I do
items,
that. Like if I'm
right?
if I'm photographing 50 things, but 10 of them are coffee mugs, I do all the coffee mugs in a row.
Right,
because I'm in coffee mug mode. I'm doing the same process, like, shaving down that transitional time as much as possible.
I think that's what it is, because it's like, when I'm taking photo shorts, it's so fast. But like if you throw in a jacket in the middle, it's like all of a sudden, like, jacket takes 10 minutes.
Okay, but also, like, for my really for everybody, it's not even just thrifters. I was gonna say that, but like sometimes if you just think about it on like a per item basis, sometimes the research or the sourcing can take a long time too. Like imagine, like think about, Ken, when you in the past, right, when you would drive everywhere to all these different stores to source like certain cherry pick things off people's milkshakes, right? You would go and pick all the cherries and then drive 4 hours to the next place. Like in my mind, if those were billable hours and I was working for someone else, those 4 hours of driving count as sourcing time, right? Does. So it's okay, sometimes that is what takes the longest, but maybe you only do that once every 6 months or something. Like it's not.
Yeah,
so
but
anyway,
it's like you spread it out still the same, right? Because like I've only sourced once a week, and then it was only 4 hours.
Yeah, like it can be other things, but I think for me, like generally speaking, it's like shipping and inventory stuff.
Yep.
But throw of the hunt. It's different driving somewhere compared to just taking photos over and over and over and over.
It's like it's way more fun.
It's way more fun, but no.
You get paid in those fun bucks, right?
Yeah. True.
All
right, we're that was only one down.
That was the bonus. That was the warm up.
That was the warm up, and we're already like.
All right. Okay. Number 2.
Ken's ready to fight.
We even have the same answers, and we're almost like proving each other wrong already.
Healthy conversation.
Wait till somebody takes the opposite answer.
I know.
True.
I'm cringing so hard.
Okay, here we
already.
go. True or false? If I am not exploring new categories, I'm not growing as a seller. Once again, true or false? If I am not exploring new categories, I am not growing as a seller.
We gotta say our answers at the same time.
Okay.
So nobody's trying to be
answer at the same time. Okay.
All right. Last question, and then
ask it
Glen
one more
counts
time.
us all, counts down, and we answer.
Okay, repeat it one more time and then count.
Yeah.
Okay, if I am not exploring new categories, I am not growing as a seller. 3, 2, 1.
False.
True.
Oh, I like that. We do need to do this at the same time.
Oh no.
Anna, please
listen.
Tell us.
Okay. Well, as per usual, I'm deconstructing the question as you're asking it.
Okay.
Statement.
A
statement. Yeah, statement. Right. It's not a question this time. But I do think so. If you're not exploring new categories and you're not growing as a seller, I think there's a fundamental assumption in that statement. I think it's possible to keep growing by exploring your current category and by basically getting better at your niche. I think you can absolutely still grow and while doing things other than exploring new categories. So I don't think that's basically the false assumption is that that's the only way that it's possible to grow and there's no growth available within your own category. So I think that's why it has to be false. Now that being said, I'm a real big fan of exploring new categories. And I do think if you're just going to hang out and be stagnant in your own category, then on face value, that is a true statement. But my answer is false.
So the real answer is true, Glenn.
No. Okay, Ken, tell us why that is a true statement.
Okay.
Never settle.
It is true because I think if you hang around the same category, it boxes your perspective on how to acquire inventory, on how to process inventory. And I'm saying this because I'm the niche guy. I'm the niche down guy. I'm the only use 2 boxes. If it doesn't fit in this box, it don't matter, right? I don't know. But this is how I think. Put it this way: my inventory system got way better because I explored clothing. Period. My shoe inventory was good. I knew where everything was at. Everything was stacked properly. I know I didn't lose anything. But clothing, we had to explore SKUs. We had to explore different system. And it's a more complex system. What happens is if you get on a more complex system, the easy systems becomes piece of cake with cherry on top. It's like a cheesecake.
Here we go.
I
know what Ken's getting for Christmas: a giant jar of maraschino cherries.
So that's why I feel like exploring different categories. I'm not saying the statement says explore. It doesn't mean like jump to a different category.
Yeah.
So that's my take. It's true because if you get stuck in the same hole, you hang out with the same pigeons, you eat the same thing, and y'all flock together.
Birds of a feather.
Y'all become birds. You know what I'm saying?
I'd probably throw in, the way I would throw in this would be like, we would always say sneakers are kind of like its own category, but let's say for Ken, I had never used to pick up cleats. Cleats are not really, they're shoes, but they're not sneakers. They're not an everyday wear, and so
they just so happen like the world's biggest sport.
They just go on your feet like shoes.
That I didn't want to learn or
totally
care to know about.
And I was like, how's this guy from Texas don't pick up soccer cleats?
Yeah. There's spurs, there's rollerblades, there's all kinds of things that go on.
There's cowboy boots.
There's Crocs.
There's
Crocs are a different
the Crocs that look like cowboy boots.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. Can we even?
So,
I just sold a furry croc today. A furry croc with a pink animal print pattern for $140. $140.
That's dedication.
Listen,
someone really wanted that.
That is why I love selling things on eBay. Like, why? Why?
But yeah, we'll never know.
The world may never know. I like that though, Glenn. I think that is a good take, even though you are not technically giving takes in this episode.
I
appreciate the bonus take.
Yeah, I appreciate the host, but
what did he say?
I didn't give an answer. I just give feedback.
He didn't say.
Oh, there's multiple subcategories.
Yeah,
that technically could box you in still if you don't explore.
True. But I also think, like, to Glenn's point, exploring outside of your category doesn't have to be catapulting yourself to the other side of the world. Right. It's like, what's something that is
you don't have to switch
adjacent, adjacent to your category, or like, right next to it.
Like if I'm already in because this happened to me when I was in Goodwill. I was looking for shoes in Goodwill. I was already there. Then I looked at tennis rackets and golf clubs, and I sold a $150 tennis racket.
Those don't go on your feet.
They don't even go in the same box.
No, you had to figure out how to ship that. Didn't you?
Yeah.
That's
no,
great.
it was a joint 1095 box. It fit.
You're like, so it kind of is the same box actually. If you try hard enough, it can be the same box. Don't even worry about it.
All right, are we ready for the third one?
Okay.
I guess.
I don't know how this one's gonna work out.
Oh no.
All right, true or false? The most successful resellers should aim for at least 50% ROI per item. This is very...
Wow.
I need to hear that one again.
The most successful resellers should aim for at least 50% ROI per item. True or false? In 3, 2, 1.
True.
False.
Anna, please tell us why this is a false statement.
The most successful resellers should keep on doing whatever they're doing because they're the most successful resellers already. Who am I to dictate what their ROI should be? Okay, also...
You said false, right? You said false?
I said false, yeah.
I said true, okay.
Yeah, you said true, so get ready, buckle your seatbelt to explain that one.
Ken's
because
like,
here's
man,
I know my answer's going to be short and sweet.
Great. We'll see, because I'm not done with my answer.
Okay.
Yeah, Anna's still telling us.
I am still telling my answer. But really, the heart of my false on this is just that I think 50% ROI by itself is not a strong enough metric.
An indicator, right?
Yeah, because it depends on also the dollar amount, right? The most
50% ROI on a $1 buy.
Yes, exactly.
That's a lot of dollars that you have to spend.
So you tell me. So you're making my point for me. Thank you, Ken. Should the most successful resellers start doing that regardless of all other criteria? No.
Yeah. Just spend $1 million.
All right, Ken. Short and sweet. You promised us.
My short and sweet answer. Because one of the most successful resellers I know lives by this rule. Name Glen the Hustler Hacks. He said this early on. He said this way early on in his YouTube video. It's like, and I was way greedier than him. When I was like,
okay. Does he still live by this rule? Oh, good thing he's right here to tell us.
Oh, yeah. Tell me if I'm right.
Okay, Hustler Hacks, please go ahead.
Hustler Hacks.
So, yes, I remember my the first videos I had told people to aim for at least 40% ROI on their items, especially when it came to like the Ross, Burlington, Marshalls type of in-store finds. Even though I did have garage sale videos and other videos, thrift videos, I didn't really say, or maybe I don't think I really said it for 40%. You'd make way more for. You should make way more.
Yeah, for
thrifting videos or thrifting items.
Yeah, you should make like 1,000%.
Yeah, exactly. So my answer would be false though, because you don't necessarily have to aim for. I mean, there's successful resellers that make 10% ROI, but they're selling millions of units per day.
Yeah.
So you don't have to necessarily aim for that, but it depends on everyone's situation, right?
Well,
if you
have
a full team,
I don't know him though.
I don't know.
That's what a reseller I know lives by 50%.
Yeah, I can't just like Hustler Hacks said. Period.
Period. Done.
You need to know.
My true answer was false, but I just want to contradict Anna.
True.
Can we click that? My true answer was false.
Yeah, my true answer was false.
Yeah, it's making it interesting.
I don't think you understand this game, Ken. No, I love it. I also feel like the "at least" is very important in that sentence.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I love.
See, it's true. It's true.
It's truly false. Yeah. I like having rules of thumb, right? Like, it makes it easy to make decisions, especially while you're sourcing, which is where everything starts. So, I definitely appreciate the spirit of that.
Okay, very nice. We're halfway done.
Good.
All right, here we go.
We're gonna survive.
To make a true or false, to make the most money reselling, I must sell on as many platforms as possible. True or false, to make the most money reselling, I must sell on as many platforms as possible. 3, 2, 1.
False.
Oh, 2. Oh, we agree.
Oh,
we're agreeing here. Ken and Anna are agreeing.
Wow.
On a false.
We're one big happy family.
True. Tell us why.
Oh my gosh. Tell us why. Do you want to go first, Ken? I've been going first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Why don't you?
I would say you get the most ROI of your time when you spend it on buying and listing better stuff compared to cross-listing junk items. Right? Let's say...
There's like a quadrant there somewhere.
Right. Let's say, an average seller spends an hour listing another platform a day. I think... We're talking eBay. I think eBay has the most customers, has the highest amount of ROI based on time to listing to audience than any other. We're not talking Amazon here. Amazon's a different beast compared to the other marketplace that are similar to eBay, like Mercari and Posh. So if you're spending an hour cross listing a day, you would be better off researching better, using that hour of time to buy better products or drive further to find a better product or taking a better photo or researching more. Because I don't think it's 1-to-1 ratio of return, right? Like if I spend a minute here on eBay and if I spend a minute on Posh, I don't think it's equal equal.
Those minutes are not equal.
They're not equal because I have at one point cross-listed all my store in Poshmark, and Poshmark didn't even do 10% of what I make on eBay monthly. So that goes to show you, like, same product, almost same price, but the audience is not there. So the conversion is not. Conversion may be equal, but the audience is still not equal, right? Yeah. So it might be like still 2% conversion, but I'm blasting to 10 million here compared to 1 million here. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. So that's my take.
All right. So I agree with you, but for the sake of conversation, I will just specify that what killed it for me and made this false for me was, number one, in the statement that you must, like the imperative.
Yeah, must.
That was kind of a killer. And also, as many platforms as possible is also kind of a killer, because kind of like Ken was just saying, not all platforms are created equal. Your 1 minute spent over here is not going to get you the same traction or, sales potential as it will on that 1 minute will on a different platform. But that being said, I do think that I've seen other resellers, especially, figure out a handful of platforms that are super quick and easy, to cross list to. And it's like, maybe for that handful of platforms, the ROI is there, even though the audience is smaller, like it still makes enough of a dent in your gross sales for the month or whatever that it's worth being over there, and it doesn't cost you a ton of time to manage it and to cross list. And so I think it can be worth it, but I don't think you must do it, and I don't think it must be to as many platforms as humanly possible.
Yeah, because that means you'd have to be on like Grailed, you'd have to be on, you mentioned the top. Yeah, you have to be on everything.
Yeah.
That means you're trying everything.
There's so many.
Right. Yeah, there's a ton. There's so many of them we don't even know about.
And they all have their learning curves, and they all have their different processes, and yeah, there's a cost to those learning curves.
Yeah. So I truly believe that you should see you should try them out and see what's working for you. Maybe a platform will work a lot better for you than I guess you didn't think, like, oh, Mercari's doing way better than Poshmark. So with eBay still being number one, maybe I'll drop Poshmark and I'll keep Mercari. And then, trying things is always good. But to list and you have to sell as many as possible, no.
Well, and also, like, I know, especially in clothing and, like, and fashion stuff, like, I know a lot of people who started on Poshmark, right? They maybe branched out over to eBay at some point, but, like, there's also kind of the learning curve and the kind of the starting up your account kind of stuff too. Mm-hmm. On any platform where you don't have a bunch of history and a bunch of feedback, it's like, I didn't experience that myself, but I've heard that from other people who started, like on Poshmark, for example, who are like, yeah, it took me forever to get traction on eBay because, I had sold no things on there before. And for me, like when I started my store, I'd already technically been selling on eBay for like 10 years or something, like because I had an account for a long time and I bought and sold things here and there. So, I didn't have a huge learning curve when I jumped in with both feet, but, and I had some account history and stuff too, but it's just like I'm sure that could be said for anybody who picks any of the platforms as their starting point and wants to branch out. But to me, like the thing that Ken said that I just can't argue with at all is just that there's just a vastly larger user base for eBay. You have such a larger audience for your items, so that is kind of a huge deal to me.
All right, we got 2 left, and now we get to hear some real answers.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go. True or false? As a full-time seller, I cannot solely rely on thrift stores for consistent inventory. True or false? As a full-time seller, I cannot solely rely on thrift stores for consistent inventory. Your answers in 3, 2, 1.
False.
False.
Oh, false.
I'm such a Debbie Downer on this episode.
Yeah. They're agreeing.
No. That was Glenn leading me to say true. and I'm like, kibosh, kibosh, kibosh. Thrift culture.
The thrift.
So,
oh my gosh,
Ken can go first this time. Why your answer for false on this?
Yeah, Ken.
Supply doesn't. When you come into stores, supply doesn't come to you. You have to go to the store. So when you say consistent, it's not the store being consistent to you. You've got to be the one consistent to the store. You know what I'm saying? You know
Louder for the people in the back.
You know? So, and as far as I know, there's more than one thrift store in my 5-mile radius, even in my area. I could walk to one, literally. I could walk to one. Actually, that's a good idea. What if I walk there every day?
You could.
An experiment. But yeah, I think that is such a, hot take. I hate people saying like, "Oh, my store is dry." Your store is dry because you're dry. You don't got energy to go to a different store or find some gem in there.
Do you think that they don't have that they're not putting that work, I guess, to also 100%. Do market research?
100%. And if they're truly right that the store is trash, they gotta move.
Yeah, get a different store.
Go to a different state. Move somewhere. You're not a tree. Move.
You're not a tree. That is the T-shirt. Yeah, you're not a tree. Move.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not the store being consistent. It's being
y'all. You can shop on Goodwill on the internet. You don't even have to leave your house.
Yeah. Dude, you could source on Whatnot and rob people there.
Rob
Glen.
No,
rob
not
me.
Glenn. Glen's like, please come rob me. My next show is.
Well, that's different because it's like OA. That's like online sourcing. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about thrift stores, purely thrift stores, because that's what this statement is about.
Yeah.
I cannot solely rely on thrift stores for consistent inventory.
Well, and I think that's funny because it's like, well, you can consistently find inventory. I don't know if you could consistently find the same item over and over again, like multiple SKU inventory. But also, it's not implicit in the question either, like, oh, this, like, that there's one, right? Like, it's saying thrift stores in general, like, as a genre of sources, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I immediately was like thinking, well, false, because I personally know several, just off the top of my head, several full-time people who basically do rely on thrift stores, and it works, but like what Ken was saying, they know a lot about a lot of things. They leave no stone unturned. They do a lot of research. They frequently go, they're not expecting to just like get a truckload of stuff to list like every single time they go. Like if they don't find something, they go somewhere else and they keep looking and they level up their sourcing game instead of like complaining about the store or whatever. Like, so yeah, I mean, I just know that there's too many, outlier cases right outside of the kind of premise of that statement that just it's enough outliers to disprove it as a true statement. So
I agree. I think it's false. I think you can rely on thrift stores for a consistent inventory and as a full-time seller. There's so many factors though that come into play that you could be a full-time seller that makes a ton of money, ton of profit. You can also be a full-time seller that doesn't really make a lot of profit,
right?
But
true.
It's enough. Both of them could be enough to live comfortably.
Yeah,
and that's also what really matters too. And there could be also someone that solely relies on one thrift store, and then someone that relies on 10 in their area.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It just everyone's in a totally different situation. But if you really love thrifting and you're there consistently, and Ken said if they know your name, then that's a good sign. That means you're there all the time.
Yeah. They might have to call you. It's like, hey, I got something for you. So I was like, talk about
unless they know your name in a bad way, like security, Ken just walked in again.
Please get him out of here.
Please remove him from the premises.
All right, here we go. Here's our last one. True or false? To succeed in reselling, I must put my business first. To succeed in oh, Ken's breathing. Or you're like, oh, that's good that he's breathing. If he wasn't, we'd be concerned. All right, to succeed in reselling, I must put my business first. 3, 2, 1.
True.
Oh, true.
With like 3 asterisks. True.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, that statement wasn't tight enough.
Too loosey goosey.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us why.
I'll go first. So
Ken wants to go first. He's ready.
Get in there.
I'll throw a pitch to Anna, and she can just take it home. I would say you have to, because business is tough. Business is not easy. Having a business solely relies on the decision maker. I think business is one of the pretty like independent, isolated entity that I can think of that truly doesn't rely on other uncontrollable factors besides acts of God. Like, in your insurance, there's acts of God clause, which is tornado, hailstorm, and all that, uncontrollable things. Because business fails, right? And it happens all the time. And if you ask that person, why did it fail? And if he says the location, it wasn't the business fault. You say the economy, it wasn't the business fault that it started at that time. I didn't have enough customer. It wasn't the business fault that he didn't market enough. So that's my stand. Because it's so hard. So it has to be first, because a thriving business is not a cruise control business. That's how a successful, thriving business is not a cruise control business, because you got to steer it. Like, I would say business is like a car. You got to steer it. You cannot let it stay on one lane unless it's autopilot now. But yeah, I think even a Tesla will require you to hold it.
It's not a self-driving car.
It's not a self-driving yet. We're not there yet. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So it's a very non-variable affected, because the biggest variable is the leader, or the decision maker, which is you. So I think that's why it gotta be first, and then build systems to make it like it doesn't consume your life. But I feel like it has to be first still. You just have to build a system around it that it's not there 24/7. That's my
right.
Anna, bring it home, Anna.
Yeah, I think the first thing that came to my mind was the words of our dear friend Lori Wong, where focus goes, energy flows. And pretty much, if you prioritize everything else before your business, or even a few things, and you do it consistently, it's going to sink. And so I don't love the idea of somebody being like, well, I got to focus on my business to the exclusion of everything else in my life. I'm not allowed to have other priorities. It's going to come before my family. It's going to come before taking care of myself. It's going to come before my health and my well-being. Like, that's not okay. That's not what we're saying here. But I do think, like, fundamentally, like, just kind of on face value, you do have to put it first for a time. And we've talked about that so much on this show. Like, you have to put it first for a time and focus on it and prioritize it, or it's like you're spread too thin and you don't make progress on anything. Or if it's always the thing that's getting put on the back burner, like, it's not going to get enough momentum to like go right and to like become successful. So I think that you do have to, but it's not forever, and it's not to the exclusion of maybe certain other priorities. Like, I love to think about things in practical terms too, and just how does this practically apply like to my life every day. I'll tell you, every morning when I'm organizing my day, like my business tasks are a top priority, but I can tell you right now that I am not going to start on those tasks until I've had a cup of coffee, I've had a conversation with my husband, and I've had some like quiet time, right? Like I don't care how busy it's going to be, how much stuff I have to do, like those things have to come first. But, once that is accomplished, the other things that are on my schedule for the day can move around or be relocated or be reprioritized, but the shipping has to happen, there are certain things that have to come first in terms of like priority, but that's still like after a certain point of I have taken care of like myself and made, set up my day for success for like me personally. So I think it's a little bit of both, but like ultimately I kind of had to go with true because the opposite is so very like unworkable to not put your business first and then expect it to perform like a business.
Yeah, the other way is a decline, right? Yes. The other way is a decline.
Yes, it's exactly.
Not because it's up or down. I think this is a field that is up or down. Mm-hmm. But Glenn, why don't you like relate this? My thing to you is my question back is this is not just reselling. I think it's your craft. Ooh. What you do professionally.
I'm just a host, so I don't.
No, because Glenn, because isn't it?
We're trying to enlighten you, Glenn.
Right. No, because isn't what you do your profession? You get paid, right? So business, right?
Yeah.
This is our profession. We're professional sellers. You're a professional graphic designer at some point. To be successful in any trade, I feel like gotta be priority. You gotta master your craft. Like nobody became the best NBA player just by
wishing for it.
Right. Everybody had
putting on a jersey.
There is a sacrifice. I think my take is if you want to be good at something or be successful at something, there has to be sacrifices made. That's why whatever that is that you're trying to be good and great at, it's got to be priority.
Well, I think Anna made a good point to where, like, the best part, I think, of what she had said is it has to be first at what point of your life it has to be first. Like, it may not be first forever, which it probably shouldn't. I mean, eventually you're going to maybe move on to something else, or maybe you are able to put so many other things before it that it's on cruise control because you put systems in place, like Ken also said, to where like things are being done without you really having to. Maybe you just have to give approval at the very end, right? Yeah. You could literally have someone send you items to sell. Someone else could take the photos for you. Someone else could make the listings for you. And all you have to do is approve the draft at the very end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's possible.
But to get to that point, how did you get to that point, though?
Yeah.
You put the business first at some point in your life.
Yeah.
So, I do agree. It's, I didn't know how you guys were going to take that one, but I thought it was going to be, no. You got to put family. You got to put your health. You got to put your,
Good.
But it's said to succeed in reselling, not
succeed,
in life.
Right?
Yeah. So I want to change my answer. Just kidding.
Because if you don't have money, you don't have life. I'm just kidding.
But if your life sucks, are you gonna be a great reseller? Like, I don't know.
I guess my other thing. Okay, so what point do you are like, hey, I really should put my mental health in front of my business now because it's starting to tear me down. Hey, I should probably put my physical health in front of reselling now because
whatever slows the decision maker down gotta be addressed.
Yeah.
The same way Anna needs coffee. The same way Anna needs coffee every morning, gotta be first. Yeah. It don't matter about responding to that offer that's why you don't accept offers the moment you wake up. Because you start accepting wrong offers. I've sent a counter offer for $1 accidentally instead of $100. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this was before when you can just cancel. workers and not get hurt,
Well, I mean, you're the vessel, right? Like you are the heart of the business, and if that heart is struggling, like how can you not expect that to trickle into your business?
Address the heart. If the heart is high in cholesterol, you gotta work out. If the heart is broken, you gotta mend it. So if the heart is full, then it's
you gotta take care of business.
Yeah. So
true.
Of the heart.
I guess it's true.
It's the heart. It's the heart.
No,
at the end
but
of the day, guys, the heart. You gotta have heart. You gotta have heart.
You do.
A good
and
heart.
you gotta take care. You gotta take care, right? And sometimes it's really easy. I just want to speak to everybody who is putting their business first and everybody who's in the trenches, not looking to the left or the right, not realizing they haven't eaten all day, not realizing that, they're missing out on memories they will never have the chance to make again with people they love because they're hustling really hard. It's great to hustle really hard. We all love it. We've lived it. We are living it. It's great. However, poke your head up out of the sand every once in a while and take inventory of that stuff. Listen to the people in your life who are telling you need to slow down. I wish you were more present. You got to take care of yourself. Like a lot of times other people are going to see it before we see it. And listen to those people who are trying to help you see it before you have to see it by slamming into a brick wall of burnout or a health crisis or whatever else it might be. Like pay attention on purpose to that. And usually other people will see it before you see it because you are focused, and that's great. But it's a dance, right? Like prioritizing things is a dance.
The greats have the highest self-awareness.
Yeah.
Right? Because once something starts hurting and if you keep playing and you feel like something's torn, then some people would I willed myself here, and then just catastrophe happened that you'll be sidelined for way longer.
You pushed it too hard. Right.
So I feel like I think
irreparable
that's
damage.
Right. Like knowing your limits, right? Like push the limits, but knowing where and how far you can push it before a car overheats or you break an ankle instead of just strain muscle compared to a broken bone. I think that's kind of like where the greats kind of like teeter totter, right? The limit between just tearing a muscle versus breaking a bone. Tearing a muscle could be good because it rebuilds better, but breaking a bone would sideline you way more than just a tear. So I think
don't want to do
that's
either of those.
Those
both sound
self-awareness is tough because I feel like the younger you are to learn and to know, the better.
Yeah.
Like if you're not self-aware and you just keep getting older and older and older, I feel like the more confused you actually probably do get because you never really commit to something. I think you're still trying to figure yourself out, and it gets harder and harder because you have more responsibilities that are eventually going to hit you.
I feel like when you're younger, you gotta go balls to the wall. I think that's when you can afford to explore limits. But the older you get, I think the smarter you should become based on the experience that you've had, right? That's why wisdom comes with maturity and age.
But not necessarily. It can come with maturity and age.
It can if you have been stagnant all your life, there's definitely no maturity and learnings, right? Like if you've lived in the same I've always said nobody should be held to their own zip code at one point in life, because if you are, then you're not exploring different places, you're not buying from a different city, you're not, opening your eyes. But thank God for internet that we get to see the whole world now. But
it does make it a lot easier.
Oh, way easier. But
just a little bit.
Yeah, I used to travel on YouTube before. That's what I did.
Yeah, right. But at least you were trying to find a way to expand your horizons, right?
So I think that's it. Like that's good. It's still a priority. Because whatever's a priority becomes really good.
You heard it straight from Ken. That's our episode.
I got a question for you, Glenn.
Oh,
true or false? True or false? This is your favorite episode format.
Oh, true.
That was easy.
You didn't even make it think.
Oh, true.
We'd have to do this again another time.
Oh, we have to. And then everybody that's listening, shoot us a DM on IG and let us know if you enjoyed this. If you guys have any suggestions, now make sure you follow us on Instagram, Seller Club Podcast, and also huge shout out to our sponsor, eBay. Make sure you follow eBay for Sellers to keep updated with all the announcement. And in the upcoming episodes, we got something good to announce, but
we do.
Yeah, so
we haven't had a good old announcement in a while.
It's in the works. So, huge shout out to Hustler Hacks for bringing us this true or false
reseller edition.
I like that. And me and Anna are still friends. We're all still smiling. Yeah. And
DM us and let us know who you think won. Also.
Oh man, Anna's being
because obviously it was a competition.
Wait. Let me bring up my whiteboard. I was keeping tabs.
Oh, good.
Alrighty, guys, that is a wrap. Episode 36. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
See ya.
Bye.